going to talk about the self-serve handout sound system that you can check out from Media Services at St. John's University. What you do is you come up to quad 443, and we'll give you this two-wheel cart equipped with two speaker stands, a powered mixer. This is a microphone mixer and an amplifier, everything built into one case. We have an accessories case here with microphones and whatnot, and then we have two speakers. What I'm going to do now is show you how to set this up to make it work, okay? So what you'll do is take these speaker stands off the cart, and you have two of them because you have two speakers, and they spread out. You loosen up this knob, and you spread the legs apart to create a tripod base like this. And then you need to tighten the knob so that this won't slide down when you put the weight of the speaker on it. Okay, these speakers have a couple of options as far as putting them on the stand. You have a hole here on the side, and you have one down here on the bottom. So you can either have the speaker like this on the stand, or you can have it like this on the stand. And the way you can raise this speaker up higher is you turn this knob down. There's a little marking here. You turn it down to a point where when you lift up this pipe, it'll stay in position like that, okay? And it doesn't come down now. And you can just keep going up. You can go quite high. You could probably go another 6 inches or so and get the speaker up about 6-7 feet. Then when you're done using the speaker, the way you get it to come down is you turn this knob in, and at some point here the speaker will start sliding down just like that. Okay, so that's how the speaker stand works. In our accessories case, we have all the wires and whatnot that you need. We have 2 speaker cables, we have 6 microphones, 6 microphone cables, 6 microphone holders, an iPod cable, and a power extension cord. So here are the microphones, 5, 6. Here's your cable for the iPod. Here are the holders for the microphone. If you're using floor stands or table stands or something like that, you would attach this to the stand and put the microphone in it. And then down below the top tray, we have 2 speaker cables. We have an extension cord, and we have 6 microphone cables. Okay, on the back of the amplifier, we have 2 speaker connections, one labeled A, one labeled B. And it's also labeled, A is labeled main, left plus right, and B is labeled monitor or right, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my speaker cable, this is a speak-on connection, and you line it up. You get tabs on the connection that you need to line up with the amplifier. So you push the connection in, and it really doesn't make a connection until you turn it to the right and it snaps and locks in place, okay? And now we take the other end of the speaker cable and plug it into one of the 2 connections on the back of the speaker. And it doesn't matter which connection you use, they're both wired in parallel, it doesn't matter. And each microphone cable has a female XLR connector on one end that plugs into the microphone. And on the other end, we have a male connection that plugs into the amplifier. Like that, okay? Before I turn on the power though, what I'm going to do is go up here and turn down the master volume control for the main channel. Here it says master, and here it says main, okay? I'm going to turn that down so that when I turn on the sound system, I'm not going to get feedback, okay? So turn on the power, and give it a second or 2 to warm up. These microphones have on-off switches, so make sure it's in the on position. And you have a switch up here, and you have to choose between when the switch is in, you're using this 1/4 inch line input, input A. When the switch is out, you're using the microphone connection. So since I'm using the microphone connection, I want to make sure that this switch is in the out position, and it's labeled here. It says line in and mic with the switch out, okay? So what I'm going to do now is make sure the microphone is on. I'm going to turn my channel 1 fader up to the 12 o'clock position, and then I'm going to turn up my master volume control until I hear some sound, okay? So you can hear my voice coming out of the speaker now, and it sounds kind of tinny. So what we're going to do, we have this equalizer. It says main channel equalizer here. We can we can adjust the tone by adjusting the equalizer. So here's your master volume control. And the master volume control is the overall sound, the overall volume of all these controls, okay? So I can turn up the individual microphone controls right here on these channel faders. But if I want to turn the overall sound of the whole sound system up, I would adjust this main master volume control. So we'll take this iPod cable. You can plug it into an iPod or to a laptop. And what we're going to do is plug it into the line input here on channel 1112. It's playing now. We don't hear it because the channel fader is turned down. I turn up the channel fader and we start hearing music, okay? If I turn up the master, we can make it nice and loud. Okay, we have a channel. Each of the channels has a tone control as well, where you can turn up the bass, or you can turn up the treble, or turn it down. So you can adjust the tone of the individual channels here, the overall sound of the whole sound system over here on this graphic equalizer over here. So let's talk about some of the more advanced features here. Okay, let's talk about the effects. We have an effects section here, or a processor built in. And the way we can create echo, we have the reverb hall 2, reverb room. We have a chorus 1. We have distortion. Distortion is probably the most noticeable, so we'll play with that one. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is turn up the volume on channel 1, my microphone. I'm going to give myself a little more bass here. Okay, now what we do here is we have an effects return and we have a parameter control. I'm going to turn this up. I'm going to turn up my effects return control all the way. I've got my channel fader turned up so you can hear me. And now I'm going to turn up the effects control, and see it's creating a distortion. That's the effect that we want, okay? And let me switch it here to reverb hall, okay? Turn that up, and you can kind of hear the echo. It's like you're in a big hollow room. So that's how you can create an effect. You can make a reverb effect. We've got several reverbs. This is reverb hall 1. This is reverb hall 2. It sounds the same. Reverb room, test 1, 2, test 1, 2. So that's how you can create an effect. And this is like your master volume control for the effect, okay? And this is the individual channel control where you control how much of the effect is affecting this one particular channel, okay? Now, a more advanced use of this sound system would be as if let's say you have a band, okay, and you want to have a speaker or two. If you want to have a speaker feeding the audience, pointing out towards the audience, and then have your second speaker use that as a monitor, a stage monitor. So the way you would separate the two speakers and have a main and monitor circuit is you flip this slide switch down to the down position where it says main and monitor. Now the speaker that's hooked up to my main connection on the back is projecting my sound. And this one is quiet because this one is now hooked up to my monitor channel, which here's your master volume control for the monitor circuit. And this is your equalizer, the overall equalizer for the monitor channel. And then if you go over to the individual channel, we have a monitor volume control. And this controls how much sound is being sent from this channel to the monitor. So what I'm going to do is turn this down, turn this up. And right now we're listening to the sound coming out of this speaker, which is your monitor speaker. And we have the main speaker shut off. And it's just like having a totally separate sound system here and a separate sound system up there. This is your monitor speaker, and that's your main house speaker, okay? Then if you want to record off the sound system, you would use the left and right record out. Most times you would use this as your line inputs. Typically you would not have more than 2 line inputs. If you're using it for a band and you want to hook up an instrument, You could take the line output from the instrument and plug it directly into the 1/4-inch connection here on these channels, 1 through 6, okay? Or 1 through 4, and 5 and 6 are stereo, if you want to have a stereo sound. So I think that pretty much covers most of the features on this sound system. There is a button up here, it says Phantom. That's if your microphones are condenser microphones, they would require a Phantom power supply. The microphones that we provide in the accessories kit are not condenser microphones. They do not require Phantom power, so typically you would leave this switch in the off position, okay? So that's the how to operate this sound system. If you check it out, and watch this video, I think you'll be able to use the sound system effectively and successfully. And when you're done, make sure that you wrap up the cables and make them nice and neat and bring it back just the way it was you found it, okay? Okay, then it's ready to return to media services. If you notice something didn't work, or if you break something, be sure and alert us to that fact when you bring it back, because we don't want to hand it out to the next person in a state of disrepair. Thank you.